Good evening. We'll be starting the session in just a few minutes. Thank you for joining.
baby le machita kanlaki malume nakhe kopereke 6 nyana sila tsedi la pisitse mola kutachi malu freza wena untathi baby le machita kanlaki ay 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 bande machwaleni vimba kupe ngambeni nomakwapeni ay jwala ba mapeni mani ay 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 ngithi bande machwaleni vimba kupe ngambeni nomakwapeni ay jwala ba mapeni all mabali at vale mountain follow my church wait along ben along but along wait along la 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 amen la 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 amen la 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 amen la la
Hello, everyone. I greet you all and hope you are doing well. Thank you so much for joining this evening for yet another one of our sessions, info sessions. And this evening particularly, we'll be, diving into something around design. It's something we've not done in a while, and I hope you guys are ready and are really expecting something, to come to more or less expecting to get something from this session. So I'm Roland Sankara, and I'm going to be your host for this session. And this evening, we are joined by a very richly blessed lady. She's called Rachel Ainembabazi, and she is a human-centered design facilitator. And she's going to be sharing with us some of the principles of human-centered design so that you could actually pick up some of these principles and apply them in your work as a developer or as an innovator. So hopefully you guys are ready to pick up something from this session, and I hope you're excited as I am. Now, before I get to start, just want to know whether you guys can hear me. I'm just assuming that you've been hearing whatever I said earlier. So just to confirm that you can hear me, you can use a thumbs up, or in the comment section, you can drop something just to let me know that I'm being heard. Okay, I see some thumbs up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that feedback. That's good. Very good that I'm heard. All right. So I don't know what you guys expect from the session. Maybe you could drop it out in the chat. What do you guys expect from the session? I know sessions around design are usually thought to be only for people that have charted their path to or actually set out to move into design, UI, UX, and become that professionally. And when it comes to other business leaders, entrepreneurs, or even just software engineers, this is not something that comes really as an interest to them. So I don't know what your expectations are from the session. Perhaps I could just hear from a few people in case there is anything that you expect from the session, because coming into a room like this, you must be having some expectations. So you can drop those in the chat. Let us know what your expectations are, and if at all you want to just share with us briefly, maybe just to um, unmute your microphone. I think let me actually enable that. Should be able to, just a second, just a second. Okay, you should be able to unmute yourself in case you have anything to say. Anyway, if there is any, you could, shoot your hand up, and then we could just get to hear from you. You're most welcome, Mr. Tracy J, founder at Tech Buzz Hub. Very, very nice to have you on the call. I see you're very, very expectant, and yeah, you want to actually learn something new, I believe, from this particular session. So anyway, I just hope everyone has an expectation as you jump into this particular session. Now, I just want to make it also clear that Kanzu Code Foundation is making this possible for you. And hopefully, if at all you've not heard about it, it's a company here in Uganda that deals in, discovering talent, developing and deploying that talent out into the tech ecosystem. We have been doing this now for over 5 years, actually close to 5 years, and we are doing a good job, I believe. And yeah, we are doing this and more just to help the budding software engineers, budding tech talent in our country get an opportunity, to get those skills that are relevant in the tech ecosystem and have a chance to, partake of the opportunities that avail themselves in the industry. So in case you want to know more about us, please head over to our socials, our website, and you'll know more about us. So before I get into the session or get to invite Rachel to share with us, she has a very, very wonderful presentation, I believe. I haven't seen it. Don't think I have. I haven't. But I know it's going to be one of those interesting ones to actually look out for. So I see some hand up. Yes, Mr. Tracy J, you have something to share. Over to you. Your your network could be having an issue. We're having trouble hearing you. Mr. Tracy J, we can hardly hear you. We can hardly hear you. I think it could be your network. We can hardly hear you. Okay, I think I'll just move on to the next person in the meantime as we work on the connection there.
Now,
Mic check.
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Good.
please.
Thank you very much. My name is Kenneth Presije, founder and team leader at TechBuzz Hub, where we offer shared offices. My question or inquiry or expectation from this session is, I recently had a design thinking training from, I think, someone I was also able to invite for this session. And I am wondering whether there is any relationship between human-centered design and design thinking. So maybe when the trainer is delivering, she can also help me understand the relationship between the two. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Tracy J, for that. Very, very glad to have you on the call, but then also thank you so much for inviting another person to join in. And I believe the facilitator has picked that question, the distinction between human-centered design and design thinking. Okay, over to you, Ronnie. I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, thank you so much, Roland. This is really awesome. My name is Ronnie, and I'm a student, IT student at Council Code, and I'm glad to be here, invited by the star himself, Roland. Yeah, my expectation about this is that, yeah, there is something new to learn in this, and basically, as someone who's doing coding, someone who's doing IT design is a very important thing because there's nothing like putting up something on the internet and has no design. Who would really desire to look at that? So I expect to learn something really cool and new.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Ronnie. Very glad that yes, you've joined us and have an expectation clearly. It's a good thing, and I believe it will help you in your program. Okay, I don't think there's any other, but in case there is, you can probably just drop anything in the chat. Let me check that out. I see Timothy Opio says growing my tech skills. Sima says I expect to learn a few things about design and how it can help me in my tech career. Kevin says I'd like the color theory impact on the designs for the users, for systems, and how one can really use color as a brand. Okay, I believe those are some few expectations. Thank you for sharing, and encourage you to bring, if you haven't shared, please do share. I believe as our facilitator shares, that would guide our presentation. So without wasting time, guys, I want us to welcome Rachel Ainem Babazi. She is an HCD or Human Centered Design Facilitator and Social Entrepreneur. She's worked with very many organizations to deal in line with design, in terms of coming up with customer experiences that are really great. And most of the organizations she's worked with are of likes of, the High Innovator Program, Refactory, and lots of other organizations. So she's here this evening to just share with us what this thing called human-centered design is. I also know there's something else called service design. There's also design thinking. Just like J mentioned, yes, there is need for us to understand the disparity or the difference between all of these. And I believe we have the right person in the room. Thanks to Council Code Foundation, we have her and we know she's going to share all she can. And I hope that you guys are expectant as well. Have a notebook by and be ready to just note some of these insights she's going to be sharing. So without any further ado, I want to give you the mic, Miss Rachel, so you can pick it up from here. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Roland. I see Ken's hand is up. Is that the old hand or it's a new one?
I think it's an old hand.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here. The way you're introducing, I think you should just get like maybe an MC or something. Oh,
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be here. Yeah, I think I can just dive in. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Ooh. I was doing some bit of touches. So I hope. Okay, so sorry about my background. So I'm Rachel Ainembabazi. I think you've already introduced what he said. Yeah, nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, I'm really passionate about design. And I am a social entrepreneur where I love to design solutions or innovations that impact people's lives. Yeah. So we shall just dive in. I think we have 1 hour. Yes. So really I would like to get some person maybe from the audience who knows something about human-centered design. Have you heard about it? Because yeah, I had Kenneth talk about human-centered design, then design thinking, then some other person's expectation was to know how to design, how to incorporate design in his career as a software developer. So, I would like to know what, when they say human-centered design, what comes to your mind? Someone from the audience, what comes to your mind when we say human-centered design? Yes, Kevin.
When you speak of human-centered design, though I do not know a lot about it, but I tend to think of companies like Apple or Nike, where they put things like color and feel and touch of what the customer is supposed to experience. Basically, a customer experience while they design. They don't really advertise their products in terms of what the product can do most times, but they sell it to you in terms of what you, the user, are supposed to expect and feel when you use their product. So to me, I tend to think it's the type of design that puts the client's perception into play
Okay.
while
Okay.
you do whatever you do.
Okay. Any other person? When we talk about human-centered design, what comes in your mind? Any other person? That was nice, Kevin. Yes, Kenneth.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Just as the word is itself, human-centered design. So we have the human in the center of our product development process, so that the product fits their exact needs and interests. That is what I would think of.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. One more person. Anyone who wants to give it a go?
I'm in a noisy place, but I'll put my comments in the chat.
Okay. Okay, we can see in the chart. I think Asimwe puts the needs of human beings at the center. Well, I think it's about designing solutions. That is okay. Good. The good thing, we all have an idea of what human-centered design is. And I love the way Kenneth put it. It's putting the user at the center of whatever solutions you're designing. Yeah, so that's what human-centered design is. So when you are looking at problem solutions, when you're developing things, when you are working on maybe a product or a service, it is good to put the user at the center of the designing process. Sorry about my laptop. It's misbehaving here. Okay. Yeah, so literally this is just a technique that we use to enable us to design or create products or solutions that that resonate with who the user is or the user's needs. So before or previously, before the innovation was a thing, before creativity was a thing, people would sit in the boardrooms and they decide on what they should create. So someone would go in the boardroom and say, I think people need toothpaste. And then they create toothpaste. But now the fact that we have a lot of products that have come to the marketplace, people are innovating. You have one product, but it has a different version, different varieties, different tastes and preferences. People now design to design products or services to fit what the users need. So the fact that we have a lot of toothpaste, for example, so if I'm to come up with a new brand, I need to understand what are the tastes and preferences of the users that I am targeting. Am I looking at the people with sensitive teeth only? Because previously it was, is toothpaste okay? Does it harm a person? No. Can it clean your teeth? Yes. Let's go. So they start to produce. However, in this era, people now look at the tastes and preferences. People are creating products according to the behaviors of the users. So you first look at the person you're designing for before you start to design. That's just a simple, plain explanation of what human-centered design is. It doesn't matter what you are designing. It can be used in the software development career. It could be used by someone who is like a creative, let's say a carpenter. It could be someone who does songwriting. Before they really pin down those lyrics, they want to know the person they are writing to, like whom do I want this person, this song to go to? So that it can be used in every aspect of life, as long as you are designing, or you're creating, or you're producing, or you're solving a problem. So you're putting the user at the center. You're really thinking about that person, and you're specific on what they want, how they want it, when they need it. It's that you think about. I think someone asked, what is the difference between human-centered design and design thinking? So human-centered design has different frameworks that you can use. There are different processes that you can use to achieve that. So a human-centered design is like this. Is someone saying something? I hope my network is not. Okay, so design thinking is a framework that you can use to achieve human-centered design. So I hope that answers. Someone had asked about that. What's the difference between the two? So there are different frameworks that you can use when it comes to human-centered design, and design thinking is part of it. So if we could use an example of the Heiken's, it's called Heiken. There's a ketchup bottle. It's beautiful glass in it's in a glass. Is it Heiken? There's that nice ketchup bottle. I don't know if I can get it on the internet. Has someone interacted with that ketchup bottle? Yeah, the brand is called Heiken. I would like to know your experience. It's mostly in those nice restaurants. Someone who has interacted with the, let me see if I can get it on the internet. You guys might be wondering, what ketchup bottle am I talking about?
I think you should say tomato sauce, huh? Ketchup, problem.
Are you talking about Haynes?
Let me first see. I don't remember the name. What did you call it?
Heinz.
Haynes, Heinz. Haynes.
Yes.
That one.
Yes. It is specific, but not this one. Not this one. I think it's this one. Something like this. It's glass. You see, this one is different, eh? It's not glass. There's that glass one, the original typical one, if you know it. It's this one. Who has interacted with this bottle? What was your experience? You go to a restaurant and they bring it on the table, and there it goes. Someone's hand was up. Yes, Asimwe.
Yes. The ketchup does not come out when you need it.
Okay.
You have to beat it so hard. You have to fight a weak baker.
Okay, thank you. What team?
Yes, thank you. That ketchup, its issue is that you have to use a lot of energy to get it out of the bottle. And so you have to really be careful about your neighbors speeding all over the table and that kind of thing. Sometimes you actually have to call a waitress to help you if you can't really do it yourself.
Okay. Yes, Kevin. Thank you, Otim.
I like Haynes, so I think I'll defend it. To me, this design, it has a pleasant weight to it when you carry it. It kind of makes you feel like it's a prestigious sauce you're gonna have. And the top cup It has a sort of like a one wheel motion time that makes it pop right away. You don't have to really unscrew it so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I think I'll also say while it is difficult to get the sauce out, if you open it the right way, usually the sauce flows out in a continuous motion without you having to overflow or not have enough flow.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Amazing. So you can see that it's the same product, but we have different experiences when it comes to this product, right? And we have the usability, or we have the interface, and we have the experience. So the interface of this ketchup bottle, like was it Kelvin Alvin? I'm forgetting the name. So he said when you hold it, it has that feeling of it is that rich feeling, and then the turning is easy, and you can see through the glass. You really see if the ketchup is clean, if the ketchup is okay. You can really see that you're eating something that is clean, right? And then we go to the experience. Different people have different experiences. So someone says, if you cannot use it, then you call a waitress to come and help you. So it means there are specific people who know how to go about it, but there are also people who struggle when it comes to using it. So the thing is, when you're designing a product, you have to put both of those things in consideration. If, for example, I'm building maybe a web application, I need to make sure that, yes, the interface is good. I can click here, I go here, it is functioning. If I want maybe to make a booking, it can work. But at the same time, I need to consider the experience that someone is having when they are using this platform. Is the text too big? Is the text too bright? Is it hidden? Do I need to first look, where do I click? So you have to put those two things in consideration. And that is what we call human-centered design. You're putting the person who is going to use your product or service at the center. You want to make the experience as seamless as possible. If it is to use a tangible physical product that we use, like, for example, a ketchup, is it easy to use? Can I get that ketchup out without struggle? And if I'm holding that ketchup, does it make me feel that rich experience? So you have to put both of those things in consideration. So that's what we call human-centered design. So how do we achieve this? How do we make sure that our product, our service, the solution that we're coming up with can bring the two vibes? It is functional at the same time. It is good when it comes to experience. And at the end of it all, it is resonating with the user's needs. It's not about shining and being nice and what, but does it solve the needs that the user has? Does it resonate with their tastes and preferences? Does it resonate with their character? Do they really, really feel comfortable when they are using this? And that brings us to the principles of human-centered design. So in human-centered design for this, I am just taking the design thinking route because it's one of the frameworks that I have really tested, and it's smooth, it's amazing, and it's easy to move forward with. So in the principles, we have to first look at empathy as the first thing. We have to look at empathy. We have to look, after that, we go to define, we identify. Now, empathy is where we now understand our customers or our target users. I'm just going to give a recap on this because we're going to handle it separately in a very short time. If I'm really running fast, allow me, please tap on me and say you're running too fast. Maybe before we go to principles, is it clear what human-centered design is? Is it super clear? Can we understand what human-centered design is? Because most of the times when we see the word design, we look at UI UX. We look at colors. We look at the beautifying, maybe the front end part. We look at the front end part, but it is a whole umbrella of the experience around the user. I would like just one person. Is this thing clear? Or if it is clear, just give me a thumbs up, then I can know that we can move forward to the principles. I'm seeing on my screen. Anyone, if it is clear, just put, give me a thumbs up, then we can move forward. Okay, I can see they're coming in there. Okay, that's cool. So when we go to principles, we talked about empathy, understanding the person you're designing for, or the person you're creating this product for. Then we look at the needs they have or the problem that you're trying to solve. Then we look at creating solutions that resonate, which is ideation. So we look at solution, not what we think works, but what really works for these guys. Then we look at visualizing this solution, and we go back to them and test before we can start to really put the product together, investing time, investing resources. If it is a platform, starting to code without testing with the users to understand what they need. Okay, so we can dive in and on each of these. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we do step one. So this is a product development process or steps for you to be able to achieve the human-centered design. These are things you have to put in consideration as you move towards the human-centered design, as you put the user at the center. So these are things that you need to put in your processes as a team or as an individual, as you build products or services for your target user. So we talked about empathy. So this is research. Mostly this is where you come up with assumptions. For example, if we are designing, if we say there's a lot of youth unemployment rate in Uganda, right? So we are going to find out what is the problem, what is happening. So we will conduct interviews to understand why do youth have, why are they unemployed, right? So we might sit here in our room and we say, okay, I think there is a lot of unemployment because we don't have jobs that are created, right? But we have to go to the field and ask the people we are designing for, the youth, why are you experiencing this? So you will find they will tell you things that they experience, and then maybe you go to the employers and you're like, what's happening? they'll also tell you their side of story. Maybe they'll tell you, oh, we don't have people with tangible skills. Maybe these guys are at the entry level, but most of the times we need this. Or it is hard for them to volunteer so that we can teach them exactly what we need. So you're hearing both sides, you're empathizing with the youth, but you want to really find fact, what is happening. So it's where we conduct interviews to whoever is involved in the ecosystem. For example, if it is the employer, if it is the youth, your target audience. So in the target audience, you're finding out their pain points. What is the emotion behind that? How are they feeling, right? If it is about life goals, what are their life goals? What are their tastes and preferences? So now you understand, before you drive into creating solutions, you already have the mind that this person has, the target user you're having. You already know what they are going through. Then after that, you will dive into define. So here now, when you conduct your interviews, there is a lot of information that is going to come, right? There's a lot of lugambo that you're going to collect from the field work. So you will come as a team or as a person designing for these people and decide to analyze and filter out some of the things. You get things that really matter to your project or things that do not, and then you separate them and create those core problems that your target users are facing, that you look forward to find solutions for. And then at this stage, you see there may be 5 challenges and you're like, can we do all of them at once? Can we combine the 3 and make one? How do we go about that? Then you decide on how you want to move forward, what challenge that you're going to move forward with. Okay, then when you're done with that, now you come as a team and you do brainstorming. Now that you understand your user, and now that you know their core problems, you're starting to solve solutions, to find solutions for those core problems that you have identified in the field or during when you're conducting interviews. Okay, so I think all of us really know the brainstorm. Since we're in this space, most of us have been exposed to ideation. So as a team, you create as many ideas as possible. Those are principles. So first of the things, the principle on this stage is do not corrupt the process where you think you're writing down your solutions, but you're already judging them. Like, I think this will work. I don't think it will work in your mind. So the principle to ideation, you're going to first offload all those ideas that you think can work, that you think cannot work, just get them out of the way. And at that point, it's where the creativity and innovation starts to take place. Otherwise, most of the times in the ideation, people judge the ideas in their head and you find it is still crowded. They do not offload and then get fresh things. Then when you're done with that, you go ahead to step 4 and then you visualize the ideas that you are going forward with as a group or as an individual. Now you look at what are the specifications that we are going to visualize. I think someone talked about how can they use human-centered design when it comes to their software career. So here you look at the features. What are the main features that you think are the most important when it comes to this product or the solution that you're coming up with? So you visualize them, and then it is where now you prototype. So when you prototype them, you come back to the user so that you can ask, does this thing work for you? Can I change this? Should I add this? Did it really appeal to your need? Is it solving what the problem that you're having? So you're visualizing it so that they see where you're headed, then coming and say, okay, now we want to do this, then this will lead you to to the payment. So imagine you're telling someone that how to use, for example, an e-commerce platform. And so what we are designing, you will come and you will pay. Then after you pay, they will give you a receipt. Then after receipt, they will deliver, right? It's better if you showed them how they are going to do, the steps they are going to take until the product is delivered to them. So after you have tested, it's when now you go and launch. So the principle on the testing is people fall in love with their solutions already, right? So they do not want to iterate. They don't want to change some things. They've put a lot of work. And then you find someone says, that one is not going to work for me. 5 people are saying the same, but because you have fallen in love, you feel you don't want to iterate that. So the principle on the test stage is be open-minded. Be open-minded. Do not fall in love with the solution until the user says, this is it, and it can work for me. If there are things that cannot work for them, please feel free and remove them and create something new. Then number 6, you're launching your product, you're putting it to the market, you're releasing it to the world. And the principle here is do not stop on just launch. Keep testing and keep changing things. As you go in the market, you will find some of the things the way you planned, they did not work according to your plan. So do not say, now we're going back to the system. No. Feel free. Let them test, make your product better. You're on a move of perfection. So you see, like someone was talking about Apple. So the version 1, the version 2, by the time you're on iPhone 16, it is way much better than iPhone 7. So as you launch, keep innovating, keep adding something. So that's a principle when it comes to step 6. Okay, I think it's where I had wanted us to stop, because really we are just having to understand the principles behind the human-centered design as an info session. So I didn't want us to really dive into too much information. Any question when it comes to the whole process? Any question? Yes, Kevin.
Someone who comes up with many ideas, how can you sort of conform your ideas or choose an idea out of the many ideas that would be the best? Which process can you use to constrain yourself to the best idea?
If you're working as an individual or an organization or as a team?
It would be nice if you gave both these.
Okay. So on ideation, when you come up with many ideas, there is what we call a feasibility graph. So I didn't really go in details. So in the feasibility graph, it's where now you see is the solution feasible and versus the desirability. Is it desirable by the people you're going to design for, or is it feasible? So when you look, let's say you have 4 solutions that you want to choose from, and they are really good, and you feel they can solve that problem, one thing you can do, try to see in the 4, can they move together? Can you group maybe the 2 together? It becomes one service, but when it is like a twin. Have you seen something like a Togo website or a marketplace? So where you find there is a team, let's use an example for Airbnb, right? So you find they have a face for the person who is hosting, and they have a face for the person who is being hosted. So you see how those two feed into each other. So you can create a toggle and one feeds into the other. But if they are totally different, now you can use the feasibility and desirability. How feasible is it and how desirable is it? So when you put the four in the group, in the graph, you will see which one will be feasible and desirable at the same time. And then you can start with that one. Does that answer your question, Kevin? Okay, yes, Innocent?
How can I get the first users of my product? Like how to market it?
Sorry?
Like how can I get the first users for the product?
For the product. I think
Yes.
your first users, you can convert the people that you interviewed because you've moved with them a process, but this is another whole topic for penetrating the market. It's a whole other topic. However, I feel you could first convert the guys that you interviewed. Remember when we were talking about empathy? So when we talked about empathy, you can first sell that product to them because they were giving you feedback here. They were giving you feedback. You tested with them, you interviewed them. So at the end of the day, at least they should be able to use your product. But that's a whole other thing apart from it's an addition of human-centered design. Yes, Ken?
Thank you very much, Rachel, for wonderful information you've shared. I had you talk about how you can compare desirability and feasibility on a graph. Is there a way how you can demonstrate that on this presentation, maybe using the connotate option?
Okay, let me see if we can do that. What's the time? Will it allow us? So maybe I'll just create something. Let me do freestyle. I would have loved to use maybe Miro. Miro would be good for this, but let's just use let me see if I can. Oops. So let's just use a very quick one, right? So this could be, I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Um, okay, so this is feasibility. And we could call this okay. So feasible um, who can explain what feasible is? What do you understand by feasibility? Someone to tell us what they understand when we say feasibility. Kenneth, can you tell us? I know you've been in the business space.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Feasibility basically refers to the ability for maybe a product to address the needs of maybe a client. So if, for example, what you're trying to solve with a product is solved by that particular product, then that is feasible. However, it might definitely be feasible, but it is not desired. People don't like maybe how it looks. The product itself actually solves the problem, but people do not like how it solves it, or how it looks, or how it is made. So which makes the difference between the two.
Okay, thank you so much. Well explained. I knew it. Okay, so now you can see this graph. I'll try to pull it and there. Okay, so you can see here, when we look at this other side of the, let me just, I don't know if you will see, but since I'm using this, so the part up here, this whole part, it means that the service or the product is feasible, but it is not desirable down here. Yes, it is feasible up here, but it is not desirable. And then when we come to this down part, I'm just using the two opposite ones because it's the one that they always confuse. So when it comes to this side, it means it is desirable, but it is not feasible. So the whole of this part, you just know that the product is not feasible. Then the whole of that part, you know that the product is feasible, either when it is this side or this side. Then the whole of this part, this one, you just know that it is not desirable. However much you can see when it is high, you might think, oh, now it is high. When it is like here, you think it's high. But the whole of this part, it is not desirable when it comes to here. It is this side that you can say that the product is desirable. So if I have 4 solutions, so this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, maybe I have 4 solutions. So I will look at maybe solution A, I will look at it. Is it desirable? Is it feasible? Do people like it, like Kenneth said, or they do not like the way it is? So if it is not desirable, but it is feasible, but it is not desirable, I'll put it here. It is feasible, but it is not desirable. Then I get my second product, maybe this one, and you find for this, it is, let me just give them different colors. So you find this one, it is desirable, but it is not feasible. Then I get 2 products here that you find they are both So you find two solutions that I have or products are feasible, but so you find the two solutions I have are feasible but not desirable. Then I have this product that is desirable, but it is not feasible. So the solution I'm going to move forward with is this one in red, because it is feasible, at the same time, it is desirable. So this is the feasibility or desirability graph. So when you find you have two solutions, for example, here, that are both desirable and they are both feasible, now you will see, can you marry them? Can they move together? If they cannot move together, then as a team or as a person, choose one that you're going to test, or design both of them and then test A and B. There is the testing that you have to test product A and product B, and then you choose which one is moving well for the users. So it depends on how you move, you want to move. If there are two conflicting, both good, and you have the time, design both of them, both of them, and then you test. If you find you have one up here, then it's the one that you're going to move forward with. I hope, Kenneth, that explains the graph.
Yeah, surely. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think, let me see in the chat if we have any question. Otherwise, our time will be well spent. Any question as we check in the chat?
Okay, I have a question. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing. So it's really good what you've shared about human-centered design, and that feasibility and desirability graph was really awesome. So where does there's a misconception, as you might have said. Some people think that human-centered design is design thinking. Some people would think of it to be UI UX. So for somebody that is perhaps a developer, yes, I've understood human-centered design, but this thing that relates to UI UX, where is its place? Is it also one of the frameworks? Is it now part of this the concepts that come in after you've agreed on if at all it's feasible and it's desirable, and we're now building up the solution? Where does UI UX fall? Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. So the UI UX comes when we go to prototype. So if you are a developer and you want to dive into the UI UX, now when we reach the stage where we talked about prototype, then it's where now you get out the juice out of the human-centered design. You dive into UI UX. So some people, why they dive directly to UI UX, they miss out this other part of the research, of finding the solution, of the feasibility and desirability. They miss the whole of that part and they dive into the prototype. So the UI UX starts at the stage when we start to prototype. So it's where we are looking at the colors, where we're looking at the size, we're looking at the flow. Is it moving? Is the flow good? So it's where now we can go deeper. So when we are doing this for software developers, when we are taking the human-centered design as a software developer route, when we reach prototype, we literally begin UI UX design. I don't know if
It does. So
yes.
does it mean that the word design, some people already think color, layout, and all that, right? For someone that hasn't done maybe strategy or just kind of getting to know what solution am I building and will it be, as you mentioned, feasible and desirable for the user. So when you say design, someone's mind runs to, okay, how will it look like? And stuff like that. So Just to make it clear, I don't know if what I want to say is right. So does it mean that design in this sense is designing the solution, not necessarily the product, but the the solution to a problem that the user might be having? You're coming up with more or less that's under solution. I'm not meaning like code up something and develop it for the user to see, but you're coming up with more or less should I say logical kind of solution, breakdown to the problem, and testing those different solutions with the user to see if it's would work for them. Does that is that what the design element about human-centered design is all about?
I missed you there. I missed you there. I think you my network. You said could you start from the beginning?
Oh, okay. So the design part of the word
Mm.
human-centered design, some people may move them straight to color, layout of the product because we're talking about design.
Yeah.
To another person that is maybe in terms of you're more or less coming up with a solution, it's different. It's more or less how do we design a solution to this problem? So you're thinking strategy, you're thinking in a logical perspective, how do we solve the solution? In other words, design a solution. And by solution, not the actual product. Okay. So just want
Mm.
for context and for the rest of the audience to appreciate if what I'm saying is correct. The design does not necessarily mean we are building up the layout or color or what something will look like or where something will fit, but essentially
Yeah.
building a solution to a problem. Is that what it is?
Yes, that's what it is. It's because now for us, when it comes to maybe the digital career, our mind is already corrupted, right? Because we're talking about now the color, the front end, but design as a word is a whole thing. It's like if they say develop. So, but if you use the word develop to a programmer, they would see code. But as the word develop might mean different things. So what you're saying is correct. I wanted to share with you something very small, then the difference. So this is one of the slides I use in my other classes. So this one is, this is for software developers, right? So let me just share here. So you can see for software developers, our design starts with ideation. So after we have done the ideation and we have selected the solution we are moving forward with, it's where the design starts. So we start with the user flow. So now you can see that we are diving into the UI, UX, because we are in the space of the developers. But if it is a space of someone who is going to do a table or someone who's going to do another service that is not a digital service, the route would be different. The fundamentals are the same. The first 4 steps are the same. But when we come to prototype, we diverge because the way we prototype is different from the other people who are not into maybe programming will prototype. So if you can say my step 4 here, we are now diving into wireframes because as you start to do the UI UX, you start with the low fidelity. So we start with the wireframes, then we do the user flow, we go ahead and do mockups. Then after we've done the mockups, it's now when we go to Figma and create an interactive prototype. From the mockups, now we make it really interactive. So now we are diving into the real design of UI UX. So it's the route changes a bit when we come to prototype because there are different types of prototype. So when we reach prototype of a service, there is a storyboard for people who are maybe in service, we shall do storyboard. Some other people you will find they will do paper prototype. You find other people are doing role play as a prototype. So for us, when we come to prototype as software developers, now we go into UI, UX. But the whole design, human-centered design, it is an umbrella of putting yourself and building solutions or products that fit the users or that resonate with the user's needs. I don't know if that makes it clear, Roland.
Perfect. I think that was very important for the software engineers like myself. Otherwise, it sounds like something else that someone may think, oh, maybe it's something else for that code to handle. Yeah, but I appreciate that. Yeah.
As software developers, we all need this. We need the foundation. It's like for you're starting to construct a house, but you don't want to make what is it called? A plan? Is it called a plan?
Yeah, a plan.
Yes. You don't know, like you have to measure the rooms, how many will they be, what's the size before you can start to lay a foundation. You need to make that plan. So for the software developer, the research, the interviews we talked about, the ideation, the feasibility, that's the foundation where you will build your code on. However, you find you're building the code, but you did not know the person you're designing for, what. Then you find you're coding something that people don't need.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing and for the presentation. I think for time, we may not be in position to continue. I really appreciate you coming around and listening in to Rachel as she shared about human-centered design. I believe you guys picked something, maybe just by a show of a thumbs up. Did we learn something today? I know there is a lot of other information we'll need to dive into, um, but that's actually another session, and we are planning to have a 4-day kind of workshop on this. So we will be reaching out to you, I believe, via email. So just look out for any communication from the Council Code Foundation team inviting you for that 4-day workshop on the human-centered design beyond, actually, let me call it beyond human-centered design. You've had things like prototyping come in. So if at all you're willing to be part, just look out for that communication through our newsletter. Okay, so any parting shots, Rachel? I know, yes, we have a diversity of perspectives from very many people when it comes to human-centered design. As you perhaps had the presentation, you might have had, from people like Mr. Twesije, that is the founder of a team. They have, I believe, they have products. For him, it's different. For a software engineer on the call, it's different. So, any parting shots for the audience around human-centered design, but also design in general, because I believe it's a very important thing for us to think about, especially every time we want to come up with a new product, so that we don't get into issues, of the client doesn't actually like what we actually built. There's usability issues, etc. Any parting shots, Rachel? Over to you.
Roland, what do you mean parting shots?
Closing remarks.
Okay. I would say that human-centered design is needed by everyone. It's like how they give you clay and they tell you use clay in a way that you feel like. So you will use clay in different ways. So human-centered design is, I would say, maybe let's take an example of technology. So technology can be used by people in health. It can be used by people in education. It could be used by people in agriculture. I don't know, but it can fit in different sectors, but you customize it to fit what you want to build. So it's the same as human-centered design. You can use it in products that are really, really physical, non-tech. You can use it in maybe if you're a carpenter, you can use human-centered design to develop maybe a TV. You can use it for a software. You can use it to create a program. For example, let's say Kenneth has maybe a training program at Tech Buzz. They can use human-centered design to make that program user-centric. So it's like water. Just put it in any shape that you want. Yeah, that's what I could say.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing. In case you want to contact Rachel, sorry, in Mbabazi, I've shared her LinkedIn. You can reach out to her, follow her. She's a very, very wonderful person to be around with, by the way. So I think the most important thing is just getting to learn a thing or two from her in line with human-centered design. She's very passionate about it. So reach out to her via LinkedIn and yeah, let's get to improve our solutions and build really for the user, not for yourself and what you like. It's been me, Roland, from the Kanzu Code Foundation. Really appreciate your time here. And we encourage you to follow Kanzu Code Foundation and all our initiatives. And we just look forward to serving you better and bring more of these sessions to you so that you can use something such as this to, improve your solutions or just develop yourself in terms of your skill set. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.